Welcome back. And so, borrowing from the words of our first guest on the show, really, the Ministry of Arts and Culture is supposed to project the Ministry of Tourism. And really, that's the essence of the conversation. If you look at that entire space, it's about storytelling, telling the Nigerian story and selling Nigeria to the world. And one sector that has been selling Nigeria to the world for decades now is the arts and entertainment segment. So we're going to be celebrating a storyteller in this segment. Let's welcome Mr. Keve Ogunje, a filmmaker and a founder of an equipment company. Am I correct?
Yes, equipment rental company. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start really from storytelling, which is the heart of the conversation. And Nigeria has been selling its stories, particularly with zest, especially in recent times. And there's an interest in that space. So for you, are we effectively telling the Nigerian stories and owning the space as well? Are the Nigerian creatives owning enough of the shares in that space? Are we selling all of our intellectual property, all of our originality to the international community, and indeed the rights that come with it as well?
Well, it's a great privilege to be here to start with, basically. I believe in the words of a very popular pastor, to be useful, you have to be used first. I believe we're in the phase of being used. Our intellectual property is being used. We're selling a target. We're selling a market. We're selling a people. We're selling an industry. And we're selling a continent to the world at large. A few things may not go our way at the moment, but we're building. And storytelling is the fastest way for us as a people to change the dynamics, change how we're perceived in the international community, in the world at large, even to ourselves. Coming from where I've lived in, which is the United Kingdom, it's very difficult to be a Nigerian and be proud to be a Nigerian. I'm never going to say some stories that happened recently at a very popular embassy, just because I'm Nigerian. So storytelling has really given us, entertainment in general has given us a very new lease of life in the international market. And trust me, there's a lot of money to go around. There's a lot of funds. There's a lot of revenue generation in that industry. Even in Nigeria, look at the workforce. They just use Lagos as a case study. Look at the workforce of young people, even old people in entertainment, be it music, be it film. We're all telling stories. The musicians are telling stories. The actors and producers are telling stories, all to make Nigeria better, also to earn money. But if you look at the gap that we've covered, it's huge. Imagine if entertainment, storytelling, entertainment at large wasn't existing. A lot of people would be out of jobs, myself inclusive.
It's quite interesting the way you pose it. I think I've never heard somebody say the way you said it, and it's almost difficult not to agree with you that sometimes you have to be used before. How did you put it again?
Yeah, so to be useful, you have to be used
first. It looks like that's the phase we're in, because if you contextualize it, I'm always comparing it with the highest, which is California.
Yes.
Now, California, for instance, at some point, perhaps still now, as a state, has a bigger GDP than 54 African countries.
True.
California had about $3.3 trillion in terms of their GDP. That's almost the size of the GDP in Africa. And there are just two industries responsible for it. Silicon Valley, which has to do with tech, and Hollywood.
And Hollywood, yeah.
So that speaks to the potential and the power. And in fact, I dare to say that issues around filmmaking and creative industry generally is part of foreign policy of the Western country.
Yes.
How much of that do you think Nigeria is tapping into? Because it looks like government is playing catch up. We've seen some effort, but how much of presence are we really pushing beyond the hype? Because the average American is respected, not because all of us went to America, because we just watch film. We are afraid of having issues with some of the Western countries because of the image they put in our head. How much of us are we putting in the minds of other people, in your view?
At the moment, we're really trying. Like you said, we're playing catch-up in almost every aspect of the word catch-up. In Nigeria, for instance, you know, from politics to entertainment, we're still playing catch-up. And I think now, with the likes of people like the Mo Abudus, the Kunle Lions, the Kewa Gunjays, we're beginning to change the landscape of things, because for the longest, we're trying to meet up to Hollywood. We're trying to tell foreign stories in a Nigerian context. You can't do Hollywood better than the Americans. You can't do Bollywood better than the Indians. You can only do Nollywood better than the Americans would do Nollywood. You know, so we are not telling indigenous stories. We're telling stories that 50 years from now, we will look back and say, oh, yes, this happened in 2004 or 2020. Do you understand? And we're beginning to have a very huge impact. I'll give you an example. I'm not allowed to call figures. There was a time that earning $1 million was just a dream. But now it's very, very normal in the entertainment industry. I'm a beneficiary of a streaming platform buying my content for amounts that are not insulting, as in previous times where, you know, you put out a body of work and somebody's offering you peanut because they're offering you in USD, in dollars or in pounds. And for us here, we'll feel like, oh yeah, we've arrived. But sometimes what we earn for a 90-minute film is what some people earn for a 30-second gig in America. We can never, we've not reached the level of, let's say, California as a whole. Just a small borough in California and generates more than, because it's very important to generate and earn, generates more than the whole of Nollywood. Put Asaba, Enugu, the epic Yoruba guys, Lagos, together. We don't earn as much as a borough in California. What about the actors, for instance? The producers make some money now because, you know, an actor like Denzel, for instance, can earn, in a small budget film, as much as $20 million. What's the total budget of Nollywood films? Income and expenditure. What's the total budget?
And you know, Kewa, that's the heart of the matter, really. Yeah. And I wonder if industry experts are rethinking the options of owning the space more. I go back to that question. Would there be a need for a seed fund to have something homegrown, such that we're not taking all of our own intellectual property to the international streaming platforms? And indeed, we had some of them before. Or is there an intentionality in ensuring that the cinemas thrive such that, you know, we can continue to create value such that we can have films like Tribe of Judah that hit 1 billion naira at the box office?
There's a 5-letter word, TRUST, trust. And I used to say, because we're getting to a phase now where the young people, by young I mean people from 18 to 45, 50, they're the ones that are now becoming the leaders in this aspect of business. If we have trust within ourselves, it's the biggest capital in the world, trust. Government has tried to intervene, there's some seed funds. Anytime those kind of things come up, it's like what people say. I don't like to say what people say. It just goes to a few people. And the fact is, it is those few people that will now decentralize these seeds. And a seed is supposed to germinate and bear forth fruit. But when a seed is now kept in the cupboard for personal use, then it's no more a seed, it's just gratuity. You understand?
For one individual.
Yes, a lot of these initiatives have come up. And with trust comes confidence. Every business needs confidence. It's easier for, I mean no disrespect to my elders in the industry, it's easier for a bank to give a loan to an agriculturist or a farmer than to give a loan to a Nollywood practitioner, because we're still building that confidence. There's a bit of trust now because people have seen inflow and outflow don't lie. The money that comes in doesn't lie. We're not strong enough to run independently. That's why we still go to the international community to bring in USD, because we don't have a lot of exhibiting platforms to buy our content. Distribution is a problem. I'm sure you guys would have heard this a lot from practitioners. And government is trying. Government also has to have confidence in, which is why there's tourism, there is, things like this happening. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, they're trying their best, but the people need to have trust and confidence in itself.
I wanted to ask you whether, but we're going to take just an excerpt of your work, and when we come back, I want to find out from you whether, from where you sit, whether government really understands what is required. Because there's that place of just having and all of these measures, but there's a place of understanding what value it brings to the table, or it's just tokenism. Maybe we'll just take a quick excerpt of one of your work on this particular one.
It's our 5th anniversary. Okay, I can't imagine having an anniversary without sugar.
I am going to the supermarket to get some groceries.
Hello, Chala.
Yeah, just the
Follow like this, then she can't go like this. And now no concern again.
chicken this evening and left.
My wife is decent.
It's just that after 1 year, it's looking like this woman is gone.
Well, I'm tempted to ask you how much the streaming platform bought it from you, but you can say that if you want to say. It's up to you if you choose to say, because I know that LIRS is listening.
Yes, LIRS is listening, FIRS is listening. So.
All the IRSs.
So, I hope you pay your tax.
Send me a DM. Send me a DM.
Because Governor Sowolu comes and asks you. By the way, I was asking whether you think government really understands. But great work you're doing. Must commend you. Great
Thank
work.
you. Appreciate. Thank you. I think government understands, but the question I would ask is, who is the government that understands? Who is one thing for government. Government is not just one person. It's a combination of people. We are government. It's a combination of people. So the guys at the top, they may understand, but the middlemen between the guys on the top and people like us, do they understand? For instance, I'm about to film in South Africa, January or February. I know how much I would pay to film in South Africa. And the reason I'm doing that with my full chest is, when I go there, I'm extremely sure of security. I am extremely sure of the technical talents that they are giving to me. I'm bringing, of course, I'm a strong-headed filmmaker. I'm bringing some of my people from Nigeria. But I am very, very confident of the South Africans and what they offer. Can I say the same thing about Nigeria? I really like to propagate us in a positive light. But can a Kenyan, for instance, come to Nigeria and say he wants to go and shoot in the north? You know what's happening in the north. Is it safe? If they come into Lagos, would traffic allow them achieve what they want to achieve?
Well, to speak for Nigeria, it's not every part of South Africa that is safe anyway.
I understand that, but for the larger parts, as an international filmmaker, it favors a lot of people. And I can't say the same about that. Tourism in Nigeria, Ministry of Tourism or Arts and Culture, what are they doing to ensure that this is a safe haven for filming? What are they doing to entice investors from outside in the entertainment industry?
And that would be a fine place to live it, particularly now that we have a Ministry of Arts, Culture and Tourism.
Arts, culture, tourism and creative economy. A very long name.
It's actually very good. If you streamline these things, it makes decision-making faster. It makes communication faster. So I think it's a good initiative from whoever.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a great honor having you. And we love your stories. We look forward to seeing more of them. We've had Keve Ogunje, filmmaker, joining us on this segment. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So, Minister Ms. Musawa has heard that, and we hope that she reflects on some of these points that have come through, particularly from this segment. And this is where we anchor the show for today. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back again tomorrow for the home stretch. I am Bukola Koka.
Thank you so much for your time and company, and we hope that with the rejigging of the cabinet, things will get better for our country. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Sunrise Daily is up next. at the top of the hour. Bye-bye.